All right, welcome. This is going to be a short video about some of the concepts and ideas behind ledge guarding Marth as Sheik. A lot of the stuff I want to talk about is, of course, applicable to many characters and many matchups, but I wanted to just talk specifically about Sheik versus Marth. So there's going to be some things that might be familiar for other matchups, like grabbing ledge a lot and stuffing them, but you'll see why we need to get specific with Marth. Um, and this time I'm a little more prepared with some actual visuals and stuff, so hopefully we'll be able to cover it a little bit better. So when you're ledge guarding Marth as Sheik, there are a couple key ideas. The main thing is you don't want to go out and contest him off stage. There are some matchups where you can do this and stuff them and actually drop off stage and like properly ledge guard. But versus Marth, this is just not realistic because unlike these other characters, he has a sword. So he can swat away your approaches at him off stage pretty easily because his moves are very fast. So side B, nair, forward air. He's just got easy ways to get you off of him while he's recovering. And while you might still be able to, trade with a fair and time it, or get a nair and time it, it's just needless risk. There's no point in it, and you're kind of giving him an opportunity to interact with you when you have a big positional advantage being on stage while he's off stage. So why throw that away by going off stage with him when he's got lots of ways he can actually scrap with you a little bit out there. Um, so we're going to primarily be focused on the two kind of major choke points where you can fight um, and really abuse your advantage. The first is when he goes high, you can kind of get him in this juggle spot. Once he comes along this line, you can get underneath him and up air him and really control space because he'll have to use his double jump to get here. He has to fall down in a very predictable line. Um, so this is one area where you can abuse your stage advantage because you can't cover underneath him very well. The other place, and the place that is way more important and that we're going to spend a lot more time talking about, is the ledge. Because I was writing out some stuff for this and I used the word like choke point. That's almost what the ledge is from edge guarding Marth. He has to end up here. So why introduce all of these variables by going out to him when he has to eventually come to this place and you can have invincibility when he does it. So that's really what we're going to be focused on, and I'm going to kind of just introduce a couple ideas, nothing too fancy or crazy, but just to kind of help you have some structure and think about um, how to ledge guard this character. So the first and biggest option is going to, of course, be Marth Killer. Um, this is obviously really common. A lot of people know about it. If you don't know how to do it, the short version, actually, really the whole version, it's really easy. I have box, so if you're playing on box and you have a light shield bind, it's even easier. You just have to light shield, roll into the ledge, and then hold the direction that you rolled. So be right on the right side and left on the left side. That's it. When Martha B's and hits your shield, you will fall and grab the ledge. It's that simple. You can't do the roll input with C-Stick because you'll get a buffered roll, which doesn't work. If you are not playing on box, then you have to wave dash and hold grab. So if you wave dash and hold just Z, then you can do it, and you can even roll after if you're not close enough. So like you can like wave dash hold Z and then roll after to get the setup. So it would look like something like this, like you wave dash into the edge while holding Z, um, and then roll into it. That's it. And you have done a Marth Killer. Now, there's a couple situations you can end up in when you do the Marth Killer, and here's kind of how you want to handle them. The first one is where they will avoid hitting your shield and try to go around you and get to stage. So they'll up B way over here and then try to float to stage so that they don't hit your shield and drop you to ledge. If they do this, you just need to react with an aerial. So if you're here, you can just bear, you can nair. I personally like nair because it just kind of hits them in that nice like sweet spot, like on your knee, and gets sends them back out. You can kind of rinse and repeat. It's pretty reactable. Another thing you can do is just drop shield and down smash. Um, you need to make sure you don't spot dodge, obviously, but you have plenty of time to drop shield and down smash. And if you're on box, if you're holding mod X, you actually don't go off the stage when you tilt. So this is another option. You can hold you can like drop shield, hold your mod, and then tilt, and then follow up with a fair or something. Kind of cheesy, but you can do it. Uh, it's usually easy to just aerial or drop shield down smash. Um, the last thing you can do is if you think that they're going to try and drift back to the ledge, um, you can uh, you can obviously go to the ledge, but it's kind of hard because like it's you can't really wave dash. Um, so if you think they're gonna drift back, you have to like short hop and fast fall to the ledge. So it's kind of clunky. Uh, that's another option, but I don't like this as much. Um, and if you end up on the ledge and they land on the stage because they didn't float back, you can still punish with an aerial or something. But the problem with that is um, you're going to knock them towards center stage. So if you react with a nair or a back air, um, then you're going to send them back out off stage. If you go to the ledge and then they float to it, um, in this situation, you're going to only have the options to send them towards center stage, which just kind of gives up your advantage. So I don't like that option. But it's worth considering if you end up kind of in a weird spot or you have a hard read and you think you can just take the stock by ledge hogging. But I personally don't like it just because it's just really easy for them. It throws away an advantage for a pretty low reward. Um, Next is if they hit your shield. So when they hit your shield, you will be grabbing ledge. So if they hit your shield, you'll fall and grab the ledge, and a lot of times they'll kind of end up in this spot right here. And the ideal scenario, of course, is what the Marth Killer is designed to do. A lot of times they will just fall. They just fall straight down and die. A lot of times, though, once they know you're doing the Marth Killer, they're going to end up on the stage right here. So what do? This is kind of the crux of the Marth Killer and where you can kind of put them in a checkmate scenario. You want to just punish and get them back off stage again so that you can just set up a Marth Killer all over again and put them in this same awkward spot where they either have to recover high and get punished or recover low and get punished, which is what you want. And the reason that it's called the Marth Killer. So if you've a couple things you can do. If they go to if they hit your shield and they're still going to go to the stage because they've done it to where they'll be close enough that they'll land on stage. You can punish with a nair. You can kind of like time it. You have a lot of time whenever you do these because like as soon as they hit your shield, you can drop off the ledge. Um, so you can space the nair a little deep so that it hits them back off the stage like this. Um, you can also get come off the ledge and down smash, um, which is a really good option. And if you want to get really fancy, you can pivot and down smash, which I don't even know if I can consistently do at the drop of a hat. Um, Yeah, you'd like do something like that, but you'd be really quick about it. You don't really need to though. You're fine just doing this. You can also, of course, do your F tilt fair, um, ledge dash F tilt fair, um, but you just want to send them back off stage so that you can just be in this spot Marth Killer um, position again. If you want to go for some like higher reward read based stuff, or they're at a really awkward percentage where the down smash, like let's say you get them off stage really early low percent and the down smash or the F tilt is just not going to cut it and actually get them off stage, or it will get them off stage but you'll be in lag, like, and they can jump back and punish you or do something, um, or take center stage, you can drop off Dare uh, at those like kind of mid percents because it's got low enough knockback that they kind of can't DI out of it, but it's got high enough hit stun that you can kind of get you can get a fair, you can get a bear, um, you can get a nair, whatever you need to do to get them back off stage. I don't do this at high percents because they have so much influence with the DI that at high percents they're going to get away. And I would say even at low percents and mid percents, it's still risky, especially on stages with platforms, because you have the potential for them to land on this close platform and tech. There's really just a couple of spots where it's good, but it is an option. Um, then finally, ledge hop, fair, and bear. These are listed last because they're the worst. You can fair in a pickle, um, but again, that sends them center stage. They have to be super duper high percent for this to be a decent option, where not only will you have enough time to get to the opposite side of the stage after the fair, or sorry, not only will you need to knock them off stage on the other side, you also need to have enough percent on them that it will knock them back onto the other side of the stage with enough time for you to get over there to then set up your Marth Killer. So they need to be pretty high percent, in which case I'd argue you could just nair or something. Or just, again, like I said, just do the down smash and it'll probably kill when they're that high percent. But sometimes you get in a weird spot, you hesitate, and you need to do something. Um, you can get a really deep bear where so like that kind of looks like this. Um, but you have to time it really, really well and get super deep to get the sweet spot on the bear, um, which is really awkward. Um, Again, you would be much better off just doing a nair. Um, if you really want to like really go crazy, you can do like a weak back air into grab or into tilt. But again, it's like you're kind of adding extra steps when down smash or just do the tilt in the first place. Like you don't need to do this whole like adding in the back air to it. Of course, you can also grab off of all of these options too. Like you can ledge hop grab or you can ledge dash grab, but we don't want to do that because we're trying to either take their jump or put them in a spot where they're far out and we can follow up. And a grab doesn't do that for us because um, most of the time you're going to be getting the grab like this, and again, then you're either doing a back air, which isn't too great, or throwing them towards center stage. And if you get this and you down air, or sorry, down throw, then maybe you can follow up with a fair, but a lot of times they're just going to DI out, and you're just kind of in this weird spot where they have their jump, they're not too far away, and you don't have a lot of time to set up your Marth Killer predict like in a way that actually will work. Um, so that is kind of all of the main scenarios you'll run into with Marth Killer and a bulk of the video. Um, After that, you want, like, let's say that you don't have time to set up the Marth Killer and you need to do something to stop them from coming to stage and abuse this choke point on the ledge, but you're not in position for a Marth Killer and you don't have time, which does come up for, like quite a bit, especially in those like when you knock them off in mid percents or you get a throw off stage or something. That's when you're going to look at your drop off aerials and your ledge grab. Drop off aerials are really simple. Um, so you have a couple options when it comes to drop off aerials, and the main one is going to be Nair. Um, But the thing that can be hard with these is there's like more situations that the Marth can be in because they could be recovering mid, they could be recovering high, they could be recovering low. Because you kind of, whenever you're going to be doing these in situations where it's kind of like happening, they're recovering quickly. They're not sent all the way out where you have time to set up the Marth Killer, because if you had time to set up the Marth Killer, you would, since that should just be your default. But they kind of have more options in these scenarios. So that's why you need to kind of know the timing and also look at the ledge and look at um, where that choke point, where they're going to be most consistently. So you can throw a nair off of the platform right here. And if you do a drop off one, you'll fall down and cover quite a bit of space actually. Um, kind of like this. You can see that it actually covers quite a bit. And the reason you do it from the platform is because if you do a drop off nair one like right off of the stage, it you take on a lot of risk because it's just a lot easier to get gimped. Um, and also you on some stages you don't even have time to recover, like on Yoshi's for example. Also, it doesn't cover as many options because again, remember, the idea is they're going to prop. They have a lot of options they can do. They can recover mid or low or high, and doing a drop off nair here kind of covers the most options and gives you time. Um, so you don't really want to fair, and that's going to be across the board. You don't really want to drop off fair because like it takes really really tight timing, um, and while you'll probably get the stock if you trade with them, it can just lead to some awkward scenarios. Like if you whiff and they get the stage back, well now you're in a really tough spot. So it's like your best case scenario is trading, which is the best case scenario with Nair and Bear as well, but those are much more likely to hit. And fair, you really have to time it just right to get the hitbox um, actually connect the right way. Also, one of the other things that's nice about the platform aerials is you can kind of play with them a little bit. Like you can wave land into them. You can obviously jump first and then put them out. Um, if they're kind of mixing up their recovery a little bit, you can kind of you can do stuff like this where you're like threatening all the space without actually committing to an aerial. Um, and then just snag the ledge. Um, these are very dynamic and like a lot more situational. But you're really going to just be varying the animation. You're really going to just be varying the timing, not what you do. Like you're mostly going to just be doing nair um, and bear. Um, so yeah, if they recover super duper high, um, like they're recovering in a spot where like drop off aerial would just like not even be close to connecting. So they're like, they've like double jumped and they're side Bing and they're way up here. Well, now it's not really a ledge guard scenario. You can just take your juggle. Um, and like they kind of bypass the whole process. But now you're in a great situation up here, like we mentioned at the very start. Um, so yeah, if they do this super duper high recovery where nothing is even going to be close to covering it, just take your juggle. Just up air them or nair them or fair them back off the side. Just play the juggle and proceed from there. They will stop doing this because it's just very easy to punish. Let's see. The last is the ledge grabs. Um, make sure I'm not missing anything with drop-off aerials here in my notes. Yeah. Um, last is ledge grabs, and these are kind of, so this is when you not ledge grab after a Marth Killer. This is where you didn't have time to set up a Marth Killer. You didn't have time to get on the platform and set up something there. You just get to the ledge, and um, or like maybe even something like you were doing a drop off aerial and they stalled, so now you're on the ledge. Um, you're grabbing the ledge, um, like as you're coming back from a ledge guard attempt, yada yada yada. The key with ledge grab, area, edge guarding Marth from when you're on the ledge is you can't grab the ledge, wait, and then like go for something when he gets here. This doesn't work. You need to go early. The idea with ledge grab edge guards is you're utilizing the invincibility to stuff um, his recovery, or get a good solid trade with it. Um, you don't want to have to jump and do an aerial because, like I said, he can swat you away, he can gimp you. It's really easy for him to get an aerial off in this time before your aerial comes out, and you'll lose your stock for it because he'll snag your jump, he'll stage spike you, or he'll just put you in an uncomfortable situation where like he can double jump dare, or he grabs ledge and now he's edge guarding you, which happens to me a lot where I'll grab ledge, try to jump and do a nair, and in the time I jump and do the nair, he falls down and grabs the ledge. So you want to do these edge guard aerials early, super early. The idea is we're playing with the invincibility. We're not playing like we're not sitting on the ledge and delaying and waiting for the right spot. That's when you set up your Marth Killer. That's when you set up your drop off aerials. You do not just sit on the ledge, wait, and then time something. It never works. He'll always trade with you in a way that's unfavorable, and he'll get the ledge back. We're using the invincibility to stuff. So a couple ideas and what you can do. First, if they recover super duper high, if you did not know, you actually can do a ledge hop aerial on Sheik, and as long as you do it either frame perfect with a down input, or you use back to drop off the ledge, um, you actually can do any aerial and re-grab the ledge. Um, so even down air and up air, you can re-grab the ledge just fine. Um, if I could showcase it here. Um, not that. But yeah, you can re-grab the ledge. That's your nair, your back air, your up air, your down air, or that one I didn't get, but there you go. You can use any aerial and regrab. You should mostly just be using back air and nair, but this is what you'll be doing if they are recovering super high or high mid and you mistimed it and you're at the ledge too early, but you don't have time to get back up and set up your Marth Killer or get on the platform. Um, you can kind of like stall one or two aerials, and refresh your invincibility, because obviously you don't have time for like the Sheik up B stall. Um, that takes way too long. Um, and I mean, you could, I guess. It does put out a hitbox, but it's just kind of weird, um, because you're putting out a hitbox in like a tiny instant instead of like this, where you're like actually guarding your position on the ledge. If you do this and you mistime it somehow and they sweep in and snag the ledge, well, now you're dead. So this is kind of nice because even if they come in and somehow get around it and you did this like when you should have been hitting them and you were just doing like a stall, um, you're at least not dead. Um, so yeah, that's something you can do if they're recovering high and you made the wrong choice and went to ledge and need to buy some time and get your invincibility back. You can do these stall aerials. If they are recovering mid or mid low, that's when you want to do your stuff aerials. You can try to trade with his up B, which is totally fine, because if you're doing a trade aerial from the ledge, um, with invincibility, you'll either catch the later part of his hitbox or stuff it all together, or trade with it and get knocked right onto the stage while he gets knocked away. So those are totally fine. Um, That's what we're looking for is to trade. Um, but again, we're not trying to jump out and trade with him. We're not going out and trying to trade. It's too risky. We're trying to drop off and trade where we know we're going to be in a favorable position, or we're trying to trade with invincibility so that we've got an extra little layer that he doesn't have. If they do a low recovery, you can do ledge drop aerials, but again, kind of at your own risk. On Yoshi's, again, these don't work. You don't have enough space to recover afterwards. If you guess wrong and miss them, then it's really easy for them to kill you. And you can kind of do bear, and you'll still um, if you do it like frame perfect, you'll re-grab the ledge with the first part of the up B, which is kind of nice. Um, but these are kind of a last resort or a hard read. Um, but because if they're recovering low, a lot of times you should just be in a spot where you can just ledge hog them. You shouldn't need to stuff it. It's a pretty specific scenario where you need to do that, and you're not gonna get a ledge hog because most of the time they will just if you grab ledge and they up B, they're just gonna end up on stage, and you can go back to the punishes we talked about earlier. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are some ideas for Marth ledge guarding. I thought for some reason I'd be able to do this in under 10 minutes, but I felt this was a little bit more thorough and kind of gets more into the why of why we're doing certain things and making certain decisions. Um, Focus first and foremost on setting up Marth Killer because it gives you a complete checkmate situation. If you can't set up Marth Killer or they are recovering high, we're going to take our juggle if they recover high, or use drop off aerials or our invincibility to stuff recoveries um, and try and force them to either be recovering on stage or in a spot where we can easily ledge hog or knock them away, and just rinse and repeat. It's often a war of attrition and you have to do it 3 or 4 times before you actually kill them, but you will. Hopefully this was helpful.